Greetings, Eric back in the Naturopath. Thanks for coming back. We're still talking about omega-3. Let's talk about the top 10 foods in no particular order, but this is my list of what I would call the top 10. Okay, so the first one doesn't have to be the best nor is the last, but all of these are great sources of omega-3. So for many, omega-3 is an essential fatty acid. I mean, we call them essential fatty acids, or EFA. So you need to take these into your diet on a very regular basis. They help to supply enormous benefits for your body. So people who are missing out on omega-3, excuse me, often consume too much omega-6, which can have an inflammatory effect, like a not so good effect as the omega-3, would have in the body. And unfortunately, a lot of the omega-6 is being consumed today with processed foods and seed oils, and there's snack bars, and there's all sorts of ways that this crappy oil is coming into our diet, and has been increasing so in the last 30, 40, 50 years. It's just been going up and up. But so is heart disease, so is cancer, and many diseases attributed to the more inflammatory omega-6. So you need balance levels really of omega, which we'll talk about in a subsequent video. But these are the sources I think are the best for omega-3. And obviously food is the best source of omega-3. So many people today eat foods like I do, high in omega-3, but also wish to supplement their diet with additional omega-3 for, to confer even more benefits to the body. So oily fish, number one, of course, goes without saying. Mackerel, salmon, herring, tuna, sardines, anchovies, these foods in particular, the oily fishes. Now I love herring. I love sardines and herring and anchovies, and I eat those every day. I have one nice sort of piece of herring that's pickled, very fatty, very oily, which I enjoy. And then often anchovies will come into the diet, small amounts here or there, with Mediterranean style cooking, which I enjoy. Sardines also get eaten regularly. So these foods are very high, not just in omega-3, but also they're packed with minerals like calcium and boron and manganese and selenium. You're going to get vitamin E in there. You're going to get benefits, many benefits from eating these foods on a regular basis. Very clever thing to do is to eat oily fish on a regular basis. If you can't really like oily fish, then just try white fish fillets. You'll still have some omega there. And you can also get canned sardines, for example, which will be packed in different types of oils. I like it packed in spring water, for example. I find that quite enjoyable. But yeah, so oily fish, number one. Walnuts, surprising amount of omega in walnuts. One of the very few nuts that are very high in minerals, but also in omega-3. They confer particular benefits for the brain, the fats in walnuts. And if you look back in antiquity, many people believed that they were one of the best things to eat for the brain, because if you open up a walnut, it looks like the brain, doesn't it? It's interesting. So when you open a walnut, that little piece in between, that little sort of membrane, in many countries, I think particularly in Switzerland and Germany, in bygone days, people would make a tea out of that membrane, and stating it was specifically good for brain function. Empirical observation over many years. So try and eat some walnuts every day, and you need them brown, with the skins on. You don't want the ones that are blanched or all stripped of all the skin, because a lot of the benefits of nuts are just under that skin. All right. So walnuts are fantastic. We put them in pesto, for example, mix them with basil and pine nuts and olive oil, and then blend all that up and make a nice pesto out of it. Number two is walnuts. Number three, we've got seaweeds. So we've also got vegetarian, vegan sources here for people. Fish get their omega-3 primarily from eating seaweed. Okay, that's one of the number one sources. So small fish eat the seaweed. Bigger fish eat the smaller fish. Yet bigger fish eat that, and eventually it goes up the chain. And of course, the largest oily fishes have consumed a lot of, EPA and DHA through that chain, that food chain. So we're talking sea algae. We're talking, all sorts of seaweeds, nori, kombu, hijiki. There's all sorts of seaweeds you can get. So this is a great addition again to your diet, particularly if you're a vegan and you want to get omega-3. The seaweeds and the algae sources. Chlorella, spirulina also contain omega-3. Fourth one, I've got hemp seeds, various seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, and hemp seeds. These are very good source of alpha-linoleic acid. So ALA, DHA, and EPA are the three fatty acids primarily that make up omega-3. So flaxseed is a good source of alpha-linoleic acid, which in the body can convert, to other types of fatty acids. So the ground flaxseed, we'll talk about later, is fantastic. So the seeds, and you can get hemp seed oil as well, which contains omega. The fifth one is shellfish, would you believe it? Oysters, one of the very few foods that actually contain all three types of omega in them. The alpha-linoleic acid, the doxahexanoic acid, and the pentacosanoic acid, EPA. ALA, DHA, EPA. So oysters contain all, plus lots of zinc in oysters too. These are fantastic food to eat if you get good source of oysters. Scallops also, very, very healthy food to eat. Excellent. They contain iodine, they contain selenium, they contain hard to get minerals. So if you've got access to fresh shellfish like this from a quality source, you've got a superb food on your hands. Number 6, grass-fed beef, right? So the animals are going to get the omega from the grass, basically. So in New Zealand, everything's grass-fed, basically. I don't really think we have any grain-fed here. But when I was in the States, man, that grain-fed beef you guys got over there, it's not really good. It's just not really good at all to eat. So the level of omega-3 in a grain-raised cow is about a fifth of that in a grass-raised animal. So if you want to get really good butter, really good cheese, really good meat, very high quality, you need grass-fed, okay? So that's where the benefits come from. Venison or deer meat, I don't know if you can get that in the States, or I'm pretty sure you can get it in Europe. Very high quality protein to eat, because deer, of course, are nibblers. They will not necessarily eat from the ground. They'll pick off shrubs, trees, branches. They'll eat insects. They'll eat, any kind. They even eat birds. They eat all sorts of different animals. Deer are known to eat. So you're going to get, again, a quality meat here when you eat venison. And it's one of the very few wild meats I know that's very high in omega-3. So that's a good source. And probably you'll find buffalo or other animals like that, or elk or yak or whatever else you guys have got out there, other animals. They're probably also got good sources of omega-3 if they're, animals living in the wild, because they tend to eat better food than what we give them. Number 7, eggs. Eggs are also a source of omega-3, but you can get eggs now where the chickens have been fed flaxseed, for example, chia seed, different types of seeds. So of course, as the animals eat them, they're going to produce eggs high in omega-3. So that's another good source of omega-3 if you're not a vegan and you don't want to eat any oily fish or stuff. Look for eggs where the chickens have been fed flaxseed, linseed, flaxseed, and chia seed and hemp seed. And of course, eggs, incredible protein. One of the best foods you can eat, I believe, are eggs. Part of the MEVI diet, meat, eggs, vegetables and yogurt, is eggs. Most patients that I've had over the clinic in years, when I finally get people to eat eggs regularly, they tell me how much better they feel after they've consumed a meal containing some eggs. They're a superior protein. So if we look at number 8, we got soy, which has been trashed and malaligned so bad. I just read some interesting blogs, some sites I looked at about soy, and the debate's all over the place. But there's no doubt, if we're talking non-genetically modified soy that hasn't been sprayed with glyphosate, like so many crops are today, they become glyphosate resistant, so when you're eating that food, you're getting all these chemicals in it. So I'm talking non-genetically modified, organically grown soy that's been processed properly and fermented properly. You're not going to have any problems with that. But if you really want to get yourself sick, then the GM soy is certainly a way to go. So tofu, and you've got nano, you've got different types of Japanese kind of foods you can eat there that are high in omega-3. But tofu, the soybean, certainly has got an element of omega-3 in it, so it's worth thinking about. I still think it's a high quality protein. And also, while we're on the subject, of course, cheeses. Tofu cheese is not exactly the same, but remember we spoke about the dairy, about the cows. So if you've got a good quality grass-fed cow producing high quality cheese, you're going to get omega-3 in that as well, right? Number 9, of course, flaxseed. Flaxseed's a classic for a lot of vegetarian, vegan people who want some level of omega-3 in their body. They're going to have flaxseed oil. You can get beautiful flaxseed oil. It's very nice in a salad dressing mixed up with some lemon juice or some balsamic vinegar. It's quite tasty. A bit of pepper and salt, some garlic in with that. It's a very good oil to have. And you can also get walnut oil, which I've got a bottle of downstairs. It's really nice on salad. Keep it in the refrigerator, those oils. It's interesting that the best oils to eat are actually from fruits and not from seeds. If we look at coconut, which is a fruit, if we have a look at, sorry, that's a nut. If we look at, what do you call it? Not coconut, we're talking about olives. Olives are, for example, from fruits. And this particular oil, if we look at the seed oil debate versus the fruit oil debate, there's certainly a lot of leaning towards the fruit oils, all right? And I've always preferred coconut, I've always preferred olive oil, I've always preferred butter. Those kind of fats and oils in the diet are good. So, I mean, I'll leave that up to you to decide what oils, and fats you want to have in your diet. But I still think that coconut, olive oil and butter are probably among the 3 best. Navy beans, number 10, and red lentils. So you can get, I think, red kidney beans and navy beans, pinto beans, and various lentils also contain not only high levels of protein, but high levels of omega-3. Now, when I say high levels, not, of course, exceptionally high like fish, but if you're going to eat red lentils 2 or 3 times a week, enjoy them like I do, you're going to get omega-3 in your body. All right? So that gives you an idea on the sort of 10 sort of types of omega-containing foods, which I would put a lot of weight in. I think these are about the best foods when it comes to it. But obviously the best source of fish oil is going to be fish, isn't it? Omega-3. So if you're going to eat mackerel, tuna, trout, sardines, anchovies, those sorts of foods, you're going to get omega-3 in your body. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks for tuning in.